Floyd Mayweather called himself money. He made more from one night in the ring than most athletes make in a lifetime. Reuters reported that his fight with Conor McGregor helped push his career earnings to $1 billion. But in 2026, a very different story started following him. A $7.3 million IRS lien, lawsuits, past tax problems, alleged unpaid bills. And one question people can't stop asking: how does a man who made $1 billion end up in this position? Before we go further, let's be clear. Floyd Mayweather has not been proven bankrupt. This video is not claiming that he is broke. What we're looking at is the public paper trail. The IRS lien, the lawsuits, the past tax problems, the alleged unpaid bills, and the image of wealth that made Mayweather one of the most fascinating athletes in the world.
To understand why this story is so shocking, you have to understand what Floyd Mayweather represented. Before the private jets, before the diamond watches, before the money-counting videos, Floyd Mayweather was known as Pretty Boy. He came from a boxing family. His father fought professionally. His uncles were also fighters. Boxing was not something Floyd discovered late. It was around him from the beginning. And by the time he reached the Olympics in 1996, he was already seen as one of the most talented young fighters in America. He was fast, he was sharp, he was defensive, and he carried himself like someone who already knew he was different. But at that stage, Floyd Mayweather was not yet the loud, luxury-obsessed character the world would later know. He was a gifted young fighter trying to prove himself. The money image came later, and when it came, it changed everything.
Mayweather didn't just become famous because he won fights. He became famous because he sold the idea of being unbeatable. 50 wins, 0 losses, massive pay-per-view events, private jets, designer clothes, jewelry, cash. His nickname wasn't just a nickname, it became the brand. But the real shift came when Floyd stopped being just a boxer and became a business. Most fighters were paid like employees of the boxing system. Mayweather wanted control. He understood that the fight was not the only product. The story before the fight was also the product. The trash talk, the press conferences, the luxury lifestyle, the villain image. All of it made people pay to watch him. Some watched because they loved him. Others watched because they wanted him to lose. Either way, they paid. And that was the real machine behind Money Mayweather. The undefeated record made him respected. But the lifestyle, the arrogance, the cash, and the confidence made him impossible to ignore. He wasn't just selling boxing. He was selling an image.
The biggest moment came with the Conor McGregor fight in 2017. That fight was not just a boxing match. It was a global event. A boxing legend against a UFC superstar. 2 loud personalities, 2 fan bases, 1 massive payday. Reuters reported that Mayweather earned $275 million from that fight alone, and that it helped push his career earnings to $1 billion. At that point, Mayweather was not just a boxer. He was a money machine. He had turned his record, his personality, his lifestyle, and even the hate people had for him into one of the most profitable brands in sports. But the problem with making huge money is that huge money also creates huge responsibilities, huge taxes, huge spending, huge business pressure, huge lawsuits, and huge public attention when anything goes wrong.
That is why the recent headlines feel so strange. If a normal athlete has tax problems, people may not be shocked. But Floyd Mayweather built his entire public image around being richer, smarter, and more in control than everyone else. So when the words IRS lien appear next to the name Money Mayweather, it creates the perfect contradiction. On one side, you have the image, cash, watches, cars, private jets, mansions, luxury. On the other side, you have legal filings and reports about tax liens, debts, lawsuits, and unpaid bills. And that contrast is exactly why people are so fascinated. Because Mayweather didn't just tell the world he was rich, he built his entire public identity around it. In April 2026, Business Insider reported that the IRS had filed a $7.3 million lien against Mayweather in Las Vegas. The lien reportedly covered unpaid taxes from 2018 and 2023. And this was not the first time taxes had followed him. Business Insider also reported that in 2023, a U.S. tax court judge ordered him to pay millions in tax deficiencies and penalties for 2017. The same report said he previously settled with the IRS for $22.2 million over his 2015 taxes. Now, to most people, these numbers sound impossible. $7 million, $22 million, hundreds of millions earned. But that is exactly what makes the story so interesting. When someone makes normal money, normal bills can break them. When someone makes Mayweather money, the bills also become Mayweather-sized. And the public only sees one side of the life. They see the cars, they see the watches, they see the jet, they see the shopping, they see the cash. But they don't always see the taxes, the lawyers, the contracts, the business disputes, the payroll, the entourage, the maintenance, and the pressure that comes with living like the money will never stop.
Then came another headline. People reported that Mayweather was sued over alleged unpaid rent on a luxury Manhattan apartment. According to the report, the property owner alleged that Mayweather failed to pay rent between July and November 2025. The owners were seeking $337,736.13 in contract damages. Again, this is an allegation from a lawsuit. It does not prove that Mayweather is broke. But when a lawsuit over alleged unpaid rent appears next to an IRS lien and past tax problems, it adds fuel to the bigger question.
But this story has another side. Because Mayweather is not only being sued, he is also suing. In February 2026, Mayweather filed a massive lawsuit against Showtime and former Showtime sports president Steven Espinoza. MMA Fighting reported that the lawsuit seeks to recover at least $340 million in alleged misappropriated funds connected to his fight earnings. That part is important, because Mayweather's side of the story is not simply, "I don't have money." His side is that he believes a huge amount of money connected to his fights was mishandled or kept away from him. These are allegations in a lawsuit, not proven facts. But they show that Mayweather's financial story is not as simple as people online want it to be. It is not just Floyd made $1 billion and wasted it. It is more complicated than that. There are taxes, there are lawsuits, there are business disputes, there are allegations, there are public denials, and there is an image that makes every financial headline look even bigger.
So, is Floyd Mayweather broke? Based on verified public reporting, we cannot say that. Bankruptcy has not been proven. His attorney has denied that he is experiencing financial strain, and Mayweather has pushed back against reporting about his finances before. But we can say this: the public paper trail around him has become harder to ignore. A billionaire-level career does not automatically protect someone from cash flow problems, tax problems, lawsuits, bad deals, or expensive lifestyle pressure. And this is where people often misunderstand money. The mistake people make is thinking income and wealth are the same thing. Income is what comes in. Wealth is what stays. And control is something different again. You can make hundreds of millions and still have pressure if taxes, lawsuits, spending, business disputes, and cash flow all hit at the same time. That is what makes this story bigger than just Floyd Mayweather. It becomes a story about what happens after the cameras turn off, after the pay-per-view money arrives, after the entourage, after the taxes, after the lawsuits, after the investments, after the lifestyle starts pulling from the same pile. Floyd Mayweather may not be bankrupt, but the question around him is no longer whether he made money. He clearly did. The real question is, how much of it is still under his control?
Like and subscribe for more stories like this.